Fire away.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Nico Damian Guzman. And although Spanish was my first language, I speak a little English, and hopefully you guys can understand me. I'm also joined with Jennifer Huse. Am I pronouncing your last name
Yeah,
correctly?
you did perfect.
Good, good.
Mhm.
So Jennifer, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Jennifer many, many moons ago. I don't
Mhm.
even know how many years ago. Uh,
It's been a
Probably,
while.
it's been a while.
Mhm.
And I must say, when I heard that Jennifer is running for mayor in New Jersey, I was elated because her heart is for humanity, is making this world a better place, and some of the ideas she has are just revolutionary. And I'm really excited to be attempting to be what's the word? Maybe a trampoline or magnifying glass or just a way to help extend her message. And Jennifer, I want to congratulate you for doing that. What made you want to go get into politics?
Thanks, first of all, for all the kind words and for having me today.
Okay.
And it's funny, everyone keeps asking me what made me want to get into politics. Um, Sasha and I both have done so much activism over all these years, and a lot of activism and advocacy includes trying to get to politicians, and get your message through to politicians so that they can uh, change, so that, the society that they're in charge of, for the better. And it's a fight. You wouldn't think it would be such a big fight to um, make the world better, but it sure is. And so we had been both doing this advocacy and activism uh, for so long now, and we're here in our city, and pretty much if you work with us long enough, you're going to hear something about how we need to improve society or something like that come out of our mouths, because it just really can't help ourselves. And it was actually a friend of ours that actually, I guess, had heard us talking about it so much that he actually was the first one to suggest that I should run for here. And try and put in some of these things here. And at first, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Actually, I did, but I kind of, was just going through life and whatever. And then, we thought about it more and more, and we talked about, my husband and I talked about if that was something that we wanted to embark on, because it really is, both of you. When someone's running, it really is you and your spouse also, because you really need a very supportive person, because it's a lot of work that you have to put into your life, and maybe even put some other things on the back burner while you're doing it, and just time and money and stuff like that. But we decided to try, because it is feasible here where we are, that it could work. So it's an area that needs a lot of help, and the numbers are of people here, and people that we would have to reach and things like that are it is feasible. So there's a real possibility just for a lot of change here. So pretty much.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's uh, heartfelt, and I do hope that you succeed. You know, recently I had a conversation with someone I care for a lot, and she, just like you, she's extremely passionate about humanity, and not just one sector, but all of humanity. And it's
Yeah.
rare to find those people, and you definitely are one of them.
Same.
Uh, and I'd like to kind of share how we met. I wanted to share a little backstory. So back in 2000, well, let me go back a little further.
Yeah.
Back in 1993, I joined the US military. I joined the Navy. Uh, and I come from a family of military personnel. My father retired from the Coast Guard. My brother retired from the Marines. My stepfather was recon in Vietnam in the Marines, and the severe nightmares he still
Mm.
haunts him to this day. And my
Uh,
sister was in the army, and I lost an uncle in Vietnam the same year I was born. He was killed in action, and his remains came back to Puerto Rico in the 1980s.
mm,
And so somehow, some way, instead of seeing that I could serve my country and through the Peace Corps or as a firefighter, but I decided to join the military. And along that's a separate story, but I did. I
mm,
joined the Navy, and in a short amount of time, I got married. My wife at the time was in the Navy as well, and when you're young and you're in a relationship, it takes work. You want to be near each other, but when you're never together because one of you is deployed, it's almost like a recipe for disaster. And sadly, it ended. But thankfully, we had an amazing daughter. She's 25,
mm,
and but long story short, I nearly died while serving the United States. I was in a car accident, non-combat related, and we rolled down the side of a mountain in California. And thankfully we survived, but
mm,
it left me still to this day with, I still have difficulty walking sometimes, and
mm,
some days it's harder than others. And then fast forward to 2010. Um, I, after the divorce with my daughter's mother, I found myself, we could only agree to disagree. And sadly, we weren't the best co-parents for her. And it was somewhat toxic. And at the time, my daughter wasn't in my life. Thankfully, she's kind of back in my life, but there's a long story behind that as well. But to give you the cliff notes,
mm,
in 2010, I found myself because this amazing, I'll call her an angel, if you will, this English nurse who got me to a church in Jacksonville, Florida. And somehow I'm listening to this pastor, and he's mentioning, if you make 2011 your best year spiritually, it'll be your best year ever guaranteed.
mm,
And so I decide, I'm taking stock of my life. At the time, I was working for the government outside of the military. I was working for the federal government. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm okay, but I still want my life to be better. I miss my daughter and I want her back in my life. And I decided to drink the Kool-Aid, if you will.
mm.
And I did. I decided to make 2000 around December 2010. I decided to put a ring on my finger, and I told God, I got before the altar. I said, God, make me the kind of Christian you would be proud of. And so I did a complete 180. I got rebaptized, took a vow of celibacy, which for me was extremely difficult. At the
Uh,
time, being a
that
New
is
York
difficult.
Puerto Rican male, I was very single, if you will.
Yeah.
And I got rebaptized, and I decided to look at the Bible like an owner's manual. And I don't know if you know this, but in the Bible there are over 2,000 verses that speak of helping others,
Yeah.
serving the hungry, the oppressed, the list goes on, serving those who are less fortunate.
Sure.
And that's kind of what your mission is to serve those who are less fortunate. And I started doing that, helping the homeless, helped us, with the help of others, helped a youth who was suicidal. And we helped him. And I was a security marshal for the climate march in New York City, where we had over 1 million people attend. And so long story short,
It's wonderful.
I I was watching a video, and it was actually Joyce Meyer, this pastor, and she basically had this moving documentary where she speaks of, did you know that over 30,000 children will die on this planet from hunger every day, virtually?
Yes.
And I thought, how can we fix this? And it wasn't. I think it was about 3 weeks before I came across the
Mm,
venusproject.com.
mm,
And and I looked at the plan, and I'm like, this could work. This
yeah.
literally could work. And long story short, I know I'm probably the only spiritual person who believes in the Venus Project and wants to test the Venus Project. I don't know. I
I
could be
don't
wrong.
think so. No, no. the Venus Project really is in line with a lot of what many religions and spiritual practices teach. Because it's for all people. It's all people. It really caring about one another as family, as brothers and sisters, and but each person, and taking care of the planet too. So there's actually quite a bit religious and spiritual people that you know are very interested in it.
That's great to hear. And I've only skimmed on the surface of the frequently asked questions. I've yet to go all over all of them, but I've
Yeah,
met Roxanne Meadows. I've met Jacques Fresco.
yeah,
I have a picture with him. God, I miss him so much.
I
An
know.
amazing human being, one of the brightest men I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah,
And I mean, his ideas literally could work. And to, to to give people kind of a context, if you will.
mm,
So, uh, was born in New York City. Was kind of made in Puerto Rico, but since my father was in the military, went back to New York City at the age of 5. And for 4 years, I lived in a place called Governor's Island, which has a view of the Statue of Liberty. And at the time, my brother and sister, they would go to a school off. I went to the elementary school on the island, but they would go take the Staten Island ferry to their school. And if you've ever taken the Staten Island ferry, back in the day, they used to have to pay for it. But guess what? I don't know if it went bankrupt or what, but the city said this is an essential service. So we just now it's free. If you go take the Statue of Liberty or the Staten Island ferry, it's free. And there's some things that should be free that are important. In fact, I was in Paris a couple weeks ago, and their water system, the government in Paris basically said, 2010, we've deemed that water is an essential for everyone, and
yeah.
it's
I
now
can't believe
now
there's
it's
places that still aren't deeming that it's essential for everyone, and clean water. Yeah,
sadly Flint, Michigan is one of those places where they know firsthand,
yeah,
and
yeah,
my hope, my dream, my wish, my prayer is for someone, anyone, to kind of hear our message and say, you know what, this makes sense.
yeah.
This makes sense. And you know, I've got a lot more else to share. But what if you were made mayor tomorrow? Or when's election day? When should people go out and
November
vote for you?
2nd. It's getting
November
pretty
2nd.
close now. Yeah,
Good, good. Well,
yeah.
first, if they want to donate, what's your website?
It's jawformayor.com. My initials are Jaw, so it's JAHFORMAYOR. But it's
Good.
pretty easy to
Ja,
remember.
jaformayor.com.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I'm going to say that in Spanish so that the Spanish people can understand.
Thanks.
Si deseas donar para esta hermosa persona que quiere mejorar su lugar, JAHFORMAYOR.com, jaformayor.com. So,
Yeah,
I assume your ideas are on the website, and you
yeah,
share what you'd like to do, correct? And so let's say
yeah.
Dave,
There's a
let's
very
say
extensive platform there.
okay. So if you can share with us the cliff notes, let's say November 2nd, you win election day, which I really hope you do.
Thank you.
Uh, what would be, what would you do the first 90 days?
Well, it's hard to really put it into a 90-day thing. I know that's very common for people to say, like their first 90
How,
days or their 100 days or something like that. But you really have to look at the whole 4 years, and what you're looking to accomplish, and past that, because hopefully, if you're doing a good job, you get you get reelected, for the position. But kind of work your way back. But some of the most important things here, really for me, the things that you have to start with are anything that's life threatening for your people. And so we have issues with homelessness that needs to be resolved, that we have to take care of. Homelessness, housing insecurity. We may have people that technically have a place where they can stay at night with a roof over their head, but it's very, unstable about if they're going to have somewhere to be. So we have food insecurity here too. Camden's a food desert, so we really need to work on getting fresh food in here for everyone. So we have a lot of meeting of basic needs here, and then we want to go past that. So first we have to meet. I want to bring Camden up to one of the top qualities of life, period, that we have in the world. You know what I mean? But first we have to meet all these basic needs that have been already met in a lot of places. So housing, making sure that not only that they have housing housing security, but that the houses are safe, because there's issues with uh, the plumbing, the pipes. There's a lot of lead pipes over here, knobbing to electric, things like that are potentially hazardous, that need to get fixed. Um, we have issues with polluting, and people for years and years and years have liked to treat our city like a trash dump, and come and dump all of their things all over the city. There's uh, mounds of toxic dirt that's blown around in storms and things like that into people's soil and water and air. So all of those things, any pressing environmental hazards, like I said, housing, food, things like that are really making sure that people can really have access to healthcare and medicine, and are the major things to start right away. But beyond that, we have plans for more employment opportunities, more education for everybody. A lot of times people talk about, education for kids, and of course we need good education improvements for kids. But we really need to improve our education paths and opportunities for everyone. There's no reason we need to invest that in all of our people, and allow them to have as much access to education as possible, at any age. And just things, we have plans for persons to really kind of make the people that have been living in the city all of these years be almost like the shareholders of the city, in that, instead of making all of these improvements and then having it be gentrified out, which is what happens in a lot of places, that we really are putting in real paths that the people that have been here all this time can buy their own home, maybe become a landlords if they want to buy, more than one home, expanding their businesses, having more paths to businesses, and stuff like that. Because there's really just a lot of improvement and things that has to go in here. And the people that have been living here for all these years, the city has really been very neglected, and so have the people. So it's really important that we don't, come in and make all these improvements, which we can, because these improvements are being made all over the world, but make these improvements, and then the people that were going through all of this aren't the ones that are benefiting from it. So so that's some of our things. We have other things in regards to, ending the war on drugs, which is already starting to happen in regards to cannabis here, but not in some places happening in regards to other things like psychedelics and stuff, but not that much. But so as much as of that as we can do, and just to stop warring on people and start helping people, and taking people's monies and taxes and these things, just to endlessly war on them is very archaic, and we need to move past that. And same thing in regard to sex work, really to put in some things so that we're also not warring on them anymore, and we're helping in regards to anything that that they may need, because we're going to be looking to help everyone. So, and not warring on everyone. And then we have a couple other proposals, just for that are maybe not so life changing in that it's meeting a basic need, but we have some proposals just in regards to we have a city of murals proposal, so in regard to having the sides of our buildings all done with murals, and not even just the buildings. There's other things, you can do sidewalks and benches, and just all different things, to really make the city as artistic as possible, which will help to give employment to people in the arts. And there's so much that could be with that. The kids can be involved with the older artists, and things, and then eventually it would really help to make Camden an even more of a tourist destination by having a city. We have Philadelphia, which is a very big art area, a mecca of the city that people come to and stuff, and they have art districts and things, and so does New York. But we'd be really trying for as much of the whole city to be murals and artistic in that manner. So yeah, that's some of the stuff that'll be on the website.
Jennifer, I am so impressed. You've shared so much, and I think you should just go past the mayors and go straight to the presidency. Pass go, collect the $200.
It's very
I
kind. It seems like it seems like that job application process is very very tough. The job, you do have a lot of access to a lot of things to get done, but that application process was very difficult.
but the great thing is, if you do a great job with being mayor, I have no doubt that you can get there very quickly. I want to wrap up because I say they say shorter videos are better, and I'm open to doing this again, here in about a week or two if you want. I wanted to close with something if I could.
Sure.
So I'm here in Europe right now, and it's interesting. I used to be fearful of bees, but now I have this love for bees,
Mm.
and right behind me, there's like a swarm of bees that are
Oh
just
my.
on
Be
these
careful.
flowers, and they're so peaceful here. And I wonder if it's because of the GMO, the pesticides, or lack thereof.
Mm.
I'm planting a seed there, but I wanted to. The conclusion is this. So, uh, have you ever seen the movie Apocalypto?
No, I didn't.
Phenomenal movie. So to give people a little context, Apocalypto is a movie by Mel Gibson, and it's about the indigenous and uh, the Mayan Empire right when the Spaniards came, and then everything changed. And it's interesting because both my parents are from Puerto Rico, and my ancestral roots are of the Arawak Tainos. They're the ones who greeted Columbus naked, right?
Mm.
And when they did, if you listen to People's History by Howard Zinn, wow, I mean, they were great people. They had open arms. They were loving, kind, just receptive to the Spaniards. But sadly, because they were driven by the lust for gold, if you will, uh,
Yeah.
that's when the massacres happened. And I share all this because recently I was made aware that I've suffered from some serious ancestral trauma that I've never delved at. I've never thought to consider that. Why are so many of my relationships like, excuse the word French, fucked? you
Yeah.
know, and I've never really considered the fact that I'm so hyper vigilant because of a lot of this, and probably a lot of people in Puerto Rico are the same, because there's a saying that, you know, people from Puerto Rico, they treat foreigners better than they do their own people,
Mm.
and it's kind of a sad thing, but it's a, you know, it's a stark reality. And so I want to plant the seed. I met Mel Gibson in Calabasas, California, a few years ago. In fact, there's a picture of he and I on my Instagram, Nico Damian Guzman, or Guzman underscore Nico. I've got a few Instagrams, I'm not sure, but basically, if he hears this, and I hope he does, I wish I would have brought to your attention the fact that Apocalypto was probably your best work. And thank you, great job. And you've got to, you know, if you can put it on your Instagram, your Twitter feed about jaformayor.com, please do, because
Thanks.
she deserves the opportunity to make her community better. And I really hope and pray that you do. So thank you so much,
Yeah,
Jennifer. You
thanks.
you you have Portuguese roots or Brazilian roots? Is that
I have family there. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So can I say obrigado?
Yeah. Sure.
Ob-
Obrigado. Yeah.
Obrigado.
Yeah.
Muchísimas gracias.
A
I'm
lot
going to
of
say thank
friends
you.
from Brazil and and have some family over there.
Good, good. So I'll say thank you in the few languages I know, so that hopefully, you know, it can resonate with people who maybe they don't speak any English, but they hear that, and maybe they'll say, hey, wait, what's going on? So domo arigato gozaimasu in Japanese, dankeschön in German, toda haraba in Hebrew, shukran in Arabic, what other, oh, efharisto in Greek, dak in Sweden. How do we say it? Where's your husband from?
Slovenia.
How do you say thank you there?
Baby, how do you say
Where?
thank you in Slovenian? Oh yeah, hola. I know that one.
Oh yes, yes,
I
I've
do
heard
know
that.
that one.
Ho-
That's right.
Awesome, awesome, and obrigado, muchísimas gracias, merci beaucoup. Wow, kopkun in Thai, shei shei in Chinese. I think I've covered a few, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
good, good, and I'm sure there's some more.
Yeah,
But
it's
oh,
nice. We
and
have
what's what?
a very big Puerto Rican community here also, which is nice.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Because I really want to keep it short. Thank you so much for your time, and feel free to post this on social
Okay.
media. You need an invite to Clubhouse, so that you can stream at least the audio, because there's no video, but the audio. It would be great to put this on there and just get your followers following, and then put your website so people can donate.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay,
6 months, 6 weeks to go. All
awesome, awesome. Hopefully we'll
Yeah.
talk again soon. Okay,
right. Thanks, Nika. Have a good day.
thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.